sneak out our council member from our home district here, Mr. Nathan Volke. Two members of the Citizens Advisory Committee who are with us this evening, Elizabeth Rosberg, who's the chair, and Pat Hooker. Thank you both for being here this evening. These folks give tremendous time to the processes that we are investing in for the benefit of our county, and it's to them that we owe a huge debt of gratitude to make these processes possible. A number of other folks who are here this evening from the Constituent Services Office, Reese Peak, and from the Planning and Zoning Office, Cindy Carrier, Patrick Hughes, Andrea Gerhard, Gene Tinsley, and Rob Connerwell. Thank you all. At these meetings, tonight is what, Cindy, the 9th or 10th of these? I've lost track.
I know, we're 11.
This is 11?
Yeah, 6 and 7 more.
Okay, well, we have a total of 17 of these throughout the county, and this is either number 8 or 9 or number 11. I don't know which. Okay. 10. And we have been following the same format in all of these meetings, and the purpose of this, of course, is to take your pulse and gain valuable information that we can take back to our internal staff who are working on iterations of what will become the draft plan, and also to share with our Citizen Advisory Committee who evaluate these meetings and their outcome. All of this is recorded, and all of this is made part of the process, and it's made transparent for people to look at, to see, to understand what's going on. And it's been a very interesting process. Many of the comments at these meetings have been more or less the same, but quite a few other things have been different. So it's really great that we have an opportunity to hear your views in all corners of our county. The format for this has been the same with the boards, the items on the wall that you had an opportunity to comment on, and the fact that you had an opportunity to speak with staff and ask questions. The part that follows now is the verbal part of taking your pulse, and that's going to be presided over by our Citizen Advisory Chair, Elizabeth Rosberg. However, before we start with that, we have an opportunity to hear from another individual, the same individual who came to me and said, "Phil, I want you to go out and have 17 more meetings." It's been great that we've had that opportunity to do that, because without that, there would be a number of opportunities that we would have missed to talk to people. So we are always appreciative of having an opportunity to speak with the public. We get an opportunity at these meetings to hear what we're doing right and also to hear what we're doing wrong. So it is an important part of the process. What we try to do in planning is very difficult. It's really an impossible task because you're trying to balance supply and demand, and any economist will tell you that that's not possible to do. We're also trying to balance business and economic development needs for our county versus the natural resource areas that we need to protect at the same time. That's a difficult balancing act. So as planners, there's always somebody somewhere who's unhappy with what we're doing. But I've been very heartened over the past 6 or 8 months by the fact that we have a leader who understands that process and who stands behind us and has been very supportive of the processes that we observe and have to follow, and the fact that we are trying very hard to do good things for this county. And he has put his money where his mouth is. He's been out to about as many of these meetings as we have, and we very much appreciate the fact that he's so giving with his time and most importantly with his support. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like at this time to introduce our county executive. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Stuart Bittman.
Yeah, I have not been to all of them, but I've come to the most important ones, right? And they're all different, although most of them are similar in one aspect, which is that everybody believes pretty strongly that the role of government in land use is to direct the development where it should be and try to prevent it where it shouldn't be, and make sure that if development is going to happen, that we have the infrastructure to keep up with it. So there are some communities where people want more development right now in certain areas, and then others where people say, kind of what it says up here from 17 years or so ago, we like it the way it is, thank you. Enough is enough. But whichever way you go, I'm here to listen on that. But I want you to know that this election that got me elected, land use issues were a big part of what was talked about. And I'm from South County, grew up on a farm, 8 generations there, and I have pretty strong feelings about preserving open space. And my father did too, and my whole family does, because we have this jewel that we're trying to preserve in our family. And I have pretty strong feelings about the environment, and I have strong feelings about a lot of things, Nathan will tell you. But it was really important to me that in this process where we're going to be making a plan for the next 20 years of what our county is going to look like and how we're going to grow, or where we're going to grow, that we can't ever have too much citizen engagement in the process. And these 17 meetings are not only the people who show up, but the people who go online and they look at, I hope they look at the old small area plans from each community, and I hope that they weigh in, as you have, with the stickers and all up here, on what they think is important and what's not. I think people are getting the message. We were already getting the message. We changed the Citizen Advisory Committee that is doing the general development plan by having a representative from each of the 17 small areas, and we're trying to get this thing done by the spring of next year. Now, I have here the small area plan that was published 17 years ago for Lake Shore, and but more importantly, I have what came after, which is the comprehensive rezoning as a result of it. And I got this. I haven't gotten this for all of the small areas, but for an area that said that we like it the way it is, there were quite a number of rezonings and mostly upzonings of land. And you have to be careful about that. You have to be thoughtful about that, and you have to make sure that you communicate with your council person about that. Because after the general development plan, that's where owners of land, and sometimes speculators who bought land hoping to make money developing that land, will go to the council and they'll say, I want to upzone so that I can build with more density. And that's where the real land use decisions get made. When we came in, we looked at the code, and we're still looking at the code for ways to sharpen the tools that we have so that the citizens and the county can limit development where we don't want it to be. So I've noticed in South County and other areas of the county, I've noticed that development has popped up in places that we thought it wouldn't, where it was forest, a greenway, a place designated to remain a greenway, and now homes are being built. And the question was how that happens and how can we prevent that going forward. We're working on legislation to strengthen our forest conservation bill so that it's more expensive and more difficult to develop where there are trees. We hope that will drive development into areas that need redevelopment, where people want it. We've seen a lot of modifications in the process. When a developer goes in and their project doesn't quite fit the guidelines, fit the code, they can ask for modifications through the Plan and Zoning Department. And the previous administration, when Phil Hager came in, credit him for this, went around and said, it's kind of like the Wild West around here, and modifications are being handed out like candy. We need to crack down. And they started to crack down, and we wanted to define what kinds of modifications were going to be more difficult to get. Because the developers need certainty. They need to know when they're making a plan, they make a business plan, and they need to have some expectation of how the county is going to respond to their applications. So we made it clear just a few weeks ago that modification requests that have to do with environmental code are going to be very difficult to get. So wetlands, specimen trees, the big trees, steep slopes, and those kinds of things. We're not going to be handing out modifications to be able to bypass that part of the code very easily. So we're going to continue to look at these things. Obviously, school capacity is the biggest one, and road capacity as well. It was very frustrating to me to find out that the impact fees that we charge were a fraction of what we were told we should charge 10 years ago. And so we've missed out on a lot of the funding from the developers on impact fees that would have paid for roads in particular. So we're having to address a lot of that. We're having to catch up in our budget. We've had to fund things to catch up with the growth that has happened in the county over the last decades. And that includes roads, that includes schools, and it includes public safety. But it's the issue for Anne Arundel County, and we have to figure out how we're going to move forward, how we're going to be able to continue to grow economically without losing the quality of life, the environment, the open space that a lot of us came here for. And I would encourage folks to look online, if you don't already know, about the concepts of smart growth. And we had 240 citizens come out on 2 weeks' notice about 6 or 8 weeks ago as we were relaunching this progress for an all-day Saturday session with Smart Growth America, organization that helps advise local governments in how to direct development into areas where there's transit, areas where, in some cases, higher density and multi-use, where folks want to actually live close to where they work and walk to the restaurant and live in a town-like place, as opposed to what some people call sprawl. My hope is that we move the county in that direction so that we can protect particularly peninsulas with one road going in and out, and protect open space. So that's where I'm coming from. I hope you are too, but if you're not, that's okay. We're here to listen. Thanks. Yeah.
And when the rules are stretched and there's no option, we just need to understand how decisions are made.
Right.
So I know we've got a lot of things to do around the county, and colleagues can answer those things in your absence, but we're very interested.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know the situation. Reese briefed me on this, Reese Peak, and it is a big question. I know it's speculative at this point because we don't know whether we're talking about 1, 2, or 3 adjacent assisted living facilities that all have a maximum occupancy, and so the law office is looking at it. They're looking at where we're restricted in terms of fair housing, federal standards, and what it would mean to have 3 together. So the rules are the rules now, but legislation can change the rules. So obviously, in residential areas, we're not trying to put commercial development into. These kinds of issues have been big in South County as well, where not necessarily assisted living, but where things are on that line between commercial and residential, and we're having to make those tough decisions, and in some cases have had to change laws. So yeah, we're open to talking about it, and we want to hear from you.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Rosberg, and as Mr. Hager said, I am the chairman of the Citizen Advisory Committee, and I'm joined tonight with Pat, and we appreciate you all coming out. Thank you. It makes a big difference. And this is why we are here tonight, is to hear from you and what your vision is. And as our wonderful county executive alluded to, this is not your last opportunity to do this. And if you have people that were not available or that you know of that would have liked to join us this evening, everything is available online. The county website is www.aacounty.org. And if you go up into the menu, it'll say departments, and click Planning and Zoning, and the first tab is Plan 2040. You can also email me at plan2040 at aacounty.org. And we promise that you'll get a response. Everything that is done tonight is available online as well. And this is being taped. You are being recorded, and it will be available on the website as well. So those people who aren't able to join us can still participate and see what is happening, as well as answer the same questions and be able to do this. We'll come back. We'll get more input from you. We are volunteering for the next year to do this, and we want to make sure that it is worthwhile and that something happens as a result of all this. So we'll have a wonderful new general development plan, hopefully in the spring of 2020. So my first question is, why did you choose to live in this area? What brought you to the Lakeshore area? What do you love about the Lakeshore area, and why you chose to live here? Anybody want to start? Yes?
I grew up here. I lived here all my life. I went to high school, went to Bodkin Elementary. So I was born and raised here, so I lived here all my life.
That's great.
Well, we appreciate you staying. Thank you. That's great. Anybody else?
We bought a home when we were newly married 45 years ago. We knew what we wanted in terms of environmental issues. I taught at the middle school here for many years. My husband was a retired military and then also a high school teacher here right in the Chesapeake complex. So I have a vested interest in this community, and I love my neighbors and I love where I live.
Good. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. And that's why you want to be part of the process and make sure it stays this wonderful place that you've chosen to be here for so long. We can understand that. What about you, ma'am? What brought you to the area?
We were transferred in, but it's a wonderful area, and certain expectations about the residential nature of the area. And that's what interests us.
So you were transferred in, but you didn't transfer out. You stayed. That's great. So, well, thank you. We appreciate that. So I hear that environment, green space is important. What about water access?
Probably more importantly, how many residents are on an acre of property.
She was saying how many residents are on an acre of property is important as well. So, okay, what else? Anybody there? Should I take a gander and walk to the back?
I live in North Solly Road. I live in this area.
What brought you here this evening?
I missed this last week.
You missed the one last week, so you came today. Well, good. Well, we really appreciate that, to be involved. So we do. Thank you. Ma'am, what brought you to the area?
Curious to see what was going to happen in the future and how they were going to maintain it.
What brought you originally to Lake Shore, to the area here? Her husband brought her, and she decided to stay. That's probably a good reason. So, well, we appreciate you coming out this evening. Ma'am, what brought you originally here to Lake Shore?
I'm here representing Congressman Sarbanes, and this is his district, and so I was here to listen to what's important to the community.
Well, thank you. You are first state representative, so we appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming. We do. Thank you. Thank you. Well, great. So, we talked about why you're here. What is special? I think we talked a little bit about that, about the open space. You like the open space? You like the green space? What else is special about your community?
Close to the public library, close to Downs Park.
Parks, the libraries, the public facilities, the different services available in the area. So, anybody else want to add? Yeah? Okay. What else is any one thing that is unique to the area that we may not know about that makes it special?
This is a community of single-family dwellings.
Community of single-family dwellings.
And Reader's Digest tells me that this is the longest dead-end state road in the United States.
Oh my goodness, okay, wow. The longest dead-end road in the United States, and it is a state road from State Highway Administration because it is a numbered road, and most of you probably know that. So because it's a numbered road, it is a state road controlled by State Highway Administration. Wow, that's interesting. I have to think about where it starts. I know where it ends. I have to think about going all the way back the other way. So, well, that is something special.
They don't call it Mountain Road for nothing because the highest point is at Jumpers. That's where the old fire station used to be. Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody here? No? Okay. Well, it's still there. They're considering tearing it down. But that's how they used to start fires in this area. I actually know the family that lived there. And Mountain Road just, you could see all the way to the water. And if there was a forest fire, they knew it first.
There you go. Very interesting. Well, thank you for that little tidbit. We appreciate that. I think we figured out a little bit of what has changed in the last 15 years. Probably, I think, a little bit more traffic. I've heard that. I've heard that from several people, or several different areas. What else has changed in Lakeshore area in the last 5 years? 10 years, 15 years, anything else? A couple new dwellings probably went up. People don't adhere to the speed limit, is what she was saying. So, a little bit of traffic having the speed limit. I liked having the two-way in, the reverse lanes. I really think that we could use those in other areas of this county. My personal opinion, but I thought that was a good idea. Okay, so what needs improvement? Yay.
Well, remember we're being taped, so you know.
Some areas that could use improvement are the minimums for the roads in neighborhoods. Where I live at the Point of Tanyard Springs, the roads are just wide enough for us to drive on, but you can't park on the roads. And the developer put just enough parking spaces in to meet the county minimums on everything. We've been fighting this for a couple of years now. The fire marshal has said this is the code, this is what it is. So we're at the point where we're probably screwed, but we'd like to see things change in the future for developments that are going to be built so people don't run into the same problems that we're running into.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any other comments? What else needs improvement? This is your opportunity. We're going to 2040. Imagine Lakeshore in 2040. What needs to change? What needs to improve between now and then? Think out of the box. Think big.
I'd like to see an increase in the amount of native plants that are put in the roadsides coming out of Route 100 onto Mountain. They did an excellent job. That is not the case everywhere. So if we could put in more native plants, native trees, native shrubberies, that would be very environmentally positive.
Good suggestion. Thank you. We don't need the invasives. We need the natives. Exactly. What else? What would be one of your suggestions, solutions for the traffic congestion? What would you like to see? Do you want to see more hiker-biker trails? Do you want to see more reverse lanes? Do you want to see more what? Do you want to see more buses? Do you want to see more HOVs? I'm just thinking, I'm trying to, what is a solution for the traffic? Any suggestions?
I don't want us to sound too negative, Elizabeth. This is a growth kind of population. We get growth, we really want it, appropriate growth though, not multi-family or multi-person located on single-family dwelling sites. And so, yeah, I think that would get to your issue of do we put 3 lanes or not, because how much more are you going to
not thinking about that one particular piece of property? What about the rest of Lake Shore?
I don't know for sure as well, I know maybe different from one up down, but I think it's a tenet that needs to be preserved as I look across United States, so, other places. And if you start to go beyond what was intended, not to inappropriately restrain growth, that's not the point at all. We have a neighbor who is a huge growth person, but the practical reality is there need to be limits and they're government imposed, and that's just the way it has to be.
Thank you. Any other traffic suggestions looking forward?
If the density of the population it follows what the consistent application of the code should be, then traffic will, is commensurate with that land use for that piece of property. So if you have a family of 4 in a house, then you have 1 or 2 cars.
I think it also, to your point, there are certain things that but probably the more important question probably starts for us is where do we make investments across this entire county to most appropriately handle traffic where it's close to light? And
Which-
I'm not really sure this is the case.
Well, which is a good transition because we do have a new transportational functional master plan. It's called Move and Arundel. It is currently available online and you are able to make comments on it until June 30th. It is one of several plans that go into our plan, the general development plan. And I highly encourage you to get online, www.aacounty.org, and then under the departments, look on the far right-hand side under transportation. Under transportation, click that, and it's the first tab, and it's called Move and Arundel. And all of it is there, and you can see what the plan is for the county going forward. And we have until June 30th to comment on that. And I highly encourage you to do that and to pass that on to your friends, to your neighbors, to your book club, to all your other associations, community association, homeowners associations, and everybody else, to be aware of what is the plan going forward. And one of the big partnerships that we have, of course, is with the state. And that is right here in Lakeshore with 177. So you can see what the state plan is as well as how we're going to work with them in the county. So, what should your community look like in 20 years? And I think that probably, well, I won't answer for you, sorry. What should your community look like in 20 years? What do you think? This lady back here talked about the future. What should your community look like in 20 years? What would you like Lake Shore to look like? Much the same as it does now. Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking. That was the first part of your vision. That was the first sentence in your visioning plan. So, agree? Probably? Yes?
Not much different. Perhaps trees have matured. We lost a lot of trees during Sandy and subsequent storms, so we've had to plant new trees, so hopefully they'll grow and prosper and become more mature. Less traffic, but more bike and pedestrian friendly pathways, whether they're natural surface or roadways, that's to make it easier to get around by walking or biking safely. Because the way traffic is on Mountain Road, it is
A lot of multimodal, like you talk about, hiker, biker trails, and everything else. And that plan is also online because there is a new rec and park plan as well. So in addition to the Move in Arundel, there's also recs and park, and they are the ones who do all the hiker trails.
Deal with the safety of the biking and walking. If we curbing in that you see in Europe, in Holland, which divides the traffic pattern lanes from the bikers. Those bikers, there are hundreds of them every morning. They are safe because there's a 4 or 6 inch curb that separates the cars from them, and they do not get hit the way our residents do when they're biking. Oh, it's expensive. That would save our lives.
It would, and hopefully we can continue to educate people about the 3-foot rule. So, you're right, but going forward, it's a good suggestion. Going forward, we can make that. And we talked about better sidewalks, better lighting. I don't know if that is an issue here. Sidewalks. In some communities, we have sidewalks that go to nowhere, but we always are putting them in. So, shoulders, sidewalks, having separation between the sidewalks and the streets.
As a population, myself, and others get older, we like to walk places, but it is impossible to walk on mountain road. You get killed in the flesh. So I would like to suggest that sidewalks be increased so that we can walk from where Franny and Tom live or where I live to Lakeshore Plaza to shop and not take our lives in our hands. We can't walk in the road.
Right. So, what about revitalization? We've talked about that in some of the other communities. Do you have some empty buildings that we could revitalize and multi-use for something else? Have some other purpose? You can't think of any. That's great. That's good. We do have some areas in the rest of the county that I know that we're looking to revitalize and to bring back to life. So that's good. That's good for you all. Anything else that I missed?
Renewable energy
Access to renewable energy is what she was talking about. She'd like to see increase in access. There you go. All the roofs with solar panels and all the cars will plug in. So, but renewable energy is something we definitely need to address and make part of the plan. Because we are talking 2040, we may not even have any cars on the road by then. You never know. Yeah. We may not. So, sir, we haven't heard from you. Have anything else you want to add?
In the future of the county, there's a statewide program to evaluate community health through Robert Wood Johnson and through University of Wisconsin. It's published from the state, and in each county is ranked the different measures, and a lot of that is social determinants, which are part of what government addresses, and our congressional representatives, it's such a big thing, but it's a 20-year thing. If we don't deal with a comprehensive master health plan, then we're just saying everything's fine. But it doesn't seem like it, according to our rankings and what's happening in this town to the community health indexes over the last 10 years.
You're about 6 months ahead of us. Our transition committee had a lot on this, and the Poverty Amidst Plenty report talked about some of the social determinants of health in certain parts of the county, and we have Brooklyn Park, a big effort going on, and we're going to do some others, but we are in the process of trying to hire a health officer for the county that understands all of this new direction in health policy that really does link with planning, and it links with just about every aspect of quality of life in communities. And there's a proposal that we actually have that every single piece of legislation that goes before the county would have, instead of just a fiscal note, also a health impact note to get people to start thinking about this. But yeah, you're ahead of us, but we're going to catch up. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And on that note, one more.
No one's really said anything about like what needs improvement. I know there's been a lot of discussion about reining in gang activity and public safety, and so it's something I prevent infiltration, those types of things. I mean, we've had break-ins in our cars that are sitting in our driveway, and, which would be unusual. So no one is immune to it.
No one is immune to it, so we definitely need to address the public safety aspects of it as well for community-wide. Good point. Anything else? I think Patrick is good over there, yes? Good to go? He's been scrambling. All your comments will be posted online as well as what you are filling out. We will turn in, and you will be able to see this on the county website in a couple days. It'll be able to be posted, and of course you'll have plenty of opportunity. You have my email address. If you go home tonight and you think of something you forgot, please jot it down and send it off, and we will include it, and then we will come back and see you again. We'll let you know. I know Nathan will let you know. Reese will let you know when we're going to be back here again, and we have your email addresses as well. So thank you all for coming this evening. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a safe trip home.